So if my dad not being there, I still looked up to him. I wanted to do what he did, so I taught myself. My dad loved to swim. I taught myself how to swim. My dad loved to ride bikes. I taught myself how to ride a bike. Photography. He's a videographer. I'm a photographer. He's a world famous drummer. I'm a drummer. The week before the entrepreneurship camp happened, I lost my niece and my goddaughter in 2 separate car accidents.
Oh my goodness.
I said, and y'all got a winning record. So that means you're a good leader as well. So I think a lot of times what we've done is the past couple of generations have been robbed of what growing up and maturing is. And that's why I like, the title of your podcast, Breaking Rank. I've learned how much leadership really is serving. And it's about understanding them. It's not about the direction I want to take them in. It's really about assisting with destiny.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Breaking Rank, the podcast where we lead without permission. I'm your host, Diana Lortzen, and I'm here today with a special guest, Carl Gray III,
Yes.
who is the CEO and founder of Raising Founders.
Yes.
And he's also a serial entrepreneur and a published author. So check Carl out. We'll give you info on that soon. But Carl, thank you so much for joining us today.
I am so glad to be here. We're looking forward to this.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. And I was doing research on you for this episode, and so many different things popped up. So where to begin?
Statute of limitations?
Yes. And it's so I want to get into Raising Founders,
Sure.
but before I do that, can you share some background about how you grew up?
Sure. So I grew up born in DC on Trinidad Avenue. We moved uptown, 640. My dad was in and out of jail when I was growing up, jail drug programs. And so my mom moved us out to Maryland. We ended up in Kentland. So a lot of what people would see on paper would be like, oh, wait, what happened? But there was a stabilizing force in my family, which was our church. My pastor, she's a woman. She's also my godmother. So while I was a part of that church, she really took me under her wing. And so it kind of had me living, and I was just talking to one of my best friends about this the other day, how we live like such a dual life. So on one end, like I said, we're around some of the wrong people, me and my brothers growing up, doing some of the wrong things, but then we're really involved in church. And so, my pastor took me to she got my first computer, which let me be a hacker at one point, ethical hacker.
Yes.
She took me to different business conferences and all of that. But then at home, like I said, I was a cool kid, and you do what cool kids do. Sometimes it ain't always the best stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a true duplicitous upbringing. But I would say my parents loved me. I'm a miracle. My mom didn't graduate high school until I graduated college.
Wow.
Yeah. And then my dad, like I said, and I'm glad he's been clean now for 20-something years. But growing up, that was rough. Having people knock on doors. I'm walking down the street and folks pulling out guns on me because of him. So, and it was a rough undertaking, but I didn't know it. It just seemed so normal with me. So it really inspires who I am today and what I had to do. And it's funny that you asked that question first, because again, like just yesterday, I was talking to my best friend, and he was like, man, how did you really get over that stuff? I said, well, if it wasn't for, what I went through, I wouldn't be who I am today. So if my dad not being there, I still looked up to him. I wanted to do what he did, so I taught myself. My dad loved to swim. I taught myself how to swim. My dad loved to ride bikes. I taught myself how to ride a bike. Photography. He's a videographer. I'm a photographer. He's a world famous drummer. I'm a drummer. All these things I taught myself how to drive.
Yes.
Like, all the stuff is like I can still do these things, but it had helped me to be, had the ingenuity to be I'll never say I'm self-made, but so many things I am self-taught and self-directed in getting there. So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's way more than I even thought. I didn't know that you were a drummer and a photographer and like all of these things. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. No, so you had a childhood where you had to grow up probably fast. Yeah. You had to really learn your environment and all of that. And you grew up and somehow developed a passion for young people and to really mentor and inspire them. And you kind of operate in the intersection between entrepreneurship, leadership, authorship, agency, youth. I mean, there's a lot of intersections in there that I just said. But what was it that made you decide one day, I want to take my lived and learned experiences and create something for the youth today?
I think it's one of the reasons because I don't have children. So it was my 40th birthday. I turned 40, my knee started hurting out of nowhere. But the day after that...
I know that feeling very well, so right. Yes.
But the day after that is kind of when I got that download from the Most High. Like, you need to look at your legacy now. And, I've made a good living. I had a good life. Again, I helped write the strategic plan for one of the agencies for the United States Treasury. I've done consulting for Marriott, the big boys. I did the thing. Had multi-six-figure IT consulting business. But it was really like, what am I going to do for the next generation? And that's when I started, at the time it was called the Cyber Business Camp. And I was teaching ethical hacking and entrepreneurship. It was during COVID. And it was like, and I really got a passion for it. I said I would never get into education, ever. Number one, because it didn't pay enough. And number two, I didn't think I had the patience to deal with kids. Because I was like, man, if they ain't anything like I was, this is not gonna work. It's not gonna work out. But I sat there and I did it. And, it was really life-changing because the week before in the middle of the cyber camp, the week before the entrepreneurship camp happened, I lost my niece and my goddaughter in 2 separate car accidents.
Oh my goodness.
And it broke me. It shattered me. My wife at the time, she wasn't, she was out of town when it happened and she didn't come, she stayed down with her niece and all that. And so I was dealing with it really on my own. And I was going to cancel it, but I already had, people that paid their money and I couldn't get the money back. And so I said, what, I'm going to do this entrepreneurship piece of it. And almost amazingly, the 3 finalists were 3 young Black girls.
Wow.
And so it was like, oh, okay. And even watching them develop over the course of those 3 weeks, them have their own relationships with each other and building their businesses and all of that. And when you do your presentations, I do not help. I've given you all the help you're going to get. Now you present in front of everybody. And this is on Zoom. And I sat back and I watched. And when I say I had a frog in my throat to see how they blossomed. And I was like, thank you, God. I needed these. I needed this to happen for me. And, I had politicians, I had school board members, school administrators, and, business people on there. And they're sending me messages, Carl, what did you teach these kids? How did they do this? One ended up getting a job writing a business plan for somebody else.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then that's when the school district decided to hire me. They said, can you do this for 100 kids? And sure. We ended up with 44 doing it over the summer. And, every time I go into a classroom and I kind of see me and I'm basically creating the program that I wish I had. I grew up playing, I played sports up until like 8th grade. I said, it don't really count if you don't do it in high school. So, but I would say all of my coaches, they never treated us like we were playing a kid's game. And I think oftentimes outside of sports and entertainment, people treat things that kids do as kids' games. But I don't have no kids. I ain't no teacher. I coach adults. That's the only way I know how to do it. And so the same way that you go on that basketball court and your coach is no holds barred, that's the same way I am with business. They tell me all the time I get on their nerves. That's fine. I had 2 other coaches that get on their nerves, like 3 other coaches that get on. We're going to get on your nerves, but we're going to pull the best out of you. I was at I do consulting for a youth basketball league. We grew from 1 state to 7 states. Love that. But I was at the 7th and 8th grade All-Star game. And there were middle schoolers doing windmill dunks. This is 12 or 13-year-olds doing windmill dunks on 10-foot courts. That showed me 2 things. Number 1, it was a good thing that my career ended in 8th grade. I had no chance of making it. But number 2, if you give these kids the opportunity, they will excel at the highest levels. And so now we've helped over 1,000 young people launch businesses.
That is incredible. That is amazing. And it's so interesting that you say that you weren't an educator, that you don't have kids, because, at the end of the day, our calling comes to us and we don't know what direction it's going to lead us in. And with these kids, is there anything that you've noticed in terms of how they approach leadership or what they think a leader is?
Yeah, they don't know that they're leaders. That's the biggest thing. But they look at leadership as something to aspire to, as opposed to something to be. Like, they think a leader has to have certain credentials. They have to have certain, ages and all of that. And I say, no, you can lead right now. And I point to them and I ask them, you have a little brother or sister? Then you're leading. Are you on a basketball team? Then you're leading. We had an issue. There was at one of the high schools, and there was this boy, sitting in the front row, and you could tell he didn't want to be there. Not because he didn't want the content. It was he was tired of carrying a load. I couldn't tell what it was. And so he was in his group, because in that school they do things in like cohorts, like 5 kids, teenagers. And what was happening was he was always a spokesperson. He was always, and he hated. I could tell he hated it, even though he was good at it. It's like, why are they always trying to get me to do all the talking? And so he was acting out in the class, and they wanted to kick him out. I said, do not kick him out. Do not kick him out. He will stay here. I'll talk to him at lunch. So I talked to him at lunch, and he's like, man, like, they always trying to make me do the talking. They never want to do any of the talking. I said, you know why, right? I said, because you're a leader. I said, they don't know how to do it. I said, there's something in you that is called to help other people. I said, what else do you lead? He said, well, I'm the captain of the basketball team. I punched him right in his chest. I said, what? Can nobody see it? I ain't say a thing. Y'all can't lock me up for it. I punched him. He taller than me anyway. I said, boy, you know you a leader then. I said, you ain't got, I said, what? I said, you are leading the whole time. I said, and y'all got a winning record. So that means you're a good leader as well. So I think a lot of times what we've done is the past couple of generations have been robbed of what growing up and maturing is. And that's why I like, the title of your podcast, Breaking Rank. Because what's happened is we've become so protective of their childhood that we've ranked them so low. Like, you can only do this, you can only do that. When we have to understand, historically speaking, young people have always been the ones that made things happen. I tell people all the time, my heroes died before they reached the age that I am. My heroes are Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, and Jesus. So Martin Luther King died at 39. Malcolm X died at 39. Jesus died at 33. Fred Hampton died at 21. I've outlived all of them.
Wow.
And we think about the impact that they had as young people, because they have the energy, they have the ingenuity, so when we talk about leadership, I say, you can come to me for guidance, but you need to be developing the leader within you. Like, don't cap yourself because of age. It's the biggest lie that we're telling, especially our kids, is that you have to wait to do what you're supposed to do. It's you, and I hate it. Like, I hate it with a passion. It's like, and I understand they need to learn respect and, honor and be, but this whole be seen and not heard thing, this whole wait your turn thing. We're on Facebook that was invented by a teenager. What if he would have waited his turn? What if he waited till he was quote unquote supposed to do it?
That's so true. That's so true. And, I struggle with this all the time because I grew up thinking that a leader was very different than what I now understand leadership to be. And thinking about the youth that you interact with on a day-to-day basis, are there any lessons on leadership that you've learned from them?
I've learned how much leadership really is serving. And it's about understanding them. It's not about the direction I want to take them in. It's really about assisting with destiny. It's just the role I'm supposed to play as their leader, as their guide, as their teacher. I don't try to get them to quote unquote follow me. I want them to follow their calling, and I'm providing directions. I have to provide a roadmap. I have to provide. It's really just serving them.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm trying to plant that tree that's going to be 20 years from now. It's a tree I'll never get shade from, essentially. But that's really what it is. It's planting a tree I'll never get shade from, and that's not me telling them what to do. You know, I think we've had so many generations of that. You know, just follow, just do, and that hasn't really gotten us where we wanted to go.
Yeah.
It really hasn't. So me as a leader, it's me telling them, number one, demonstrating what leadership looks like so they can do it, so they can respect it, but also letting them see that they have agency. They are the CEOs of their lives. You know,
That's so powerful.
and being able to get that, yeah.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And thinking about when I grew up, I did not have a role model like that was showing. I had ideas of things that I wanted to do and thought about, you know, but there was no guidance on how to actually make that happen.
No.
It just seemed like it was something that you watched other people do and other people achieve. And it seemed like I would watch these stories about singers and entertainment artists that made it. And their parents a lot of times would quit their jobs. You think of like Beyonce's parents and Britney Spears and all of these pop stars where their parents would like quit their jobs and be their manager and do all of these things. And I kept thinking, well, that will never happen in my life. My parents are not going to be quitting jobs to be, you know, I wanted to be a singer at the time. I thought I was going to be a singer. But, you know, my parents weren't going to be quitting their jobs to be teaching me those things. And to have had a role model like you that shows them, hey, you know, you are the architect of your destiny.
Yes.
You literally can create businesses and companies and be powerful individuals at a young age, which is a message that I wish I would have had somebody share with me growing up.
Yeah, we're developing a relationship with a young woman. Her name's Gabby Goodwin, excuse me. And her parents, one of her parents, we're all a part of the same mastermind community. And she was making six figures before the sixth grade.
What am I doing with my life?
It's crazy, right?
What am I doing with my life?
And now she's a freshman in college. You know, she had over $1 million in scholarships offered to her.
Wow.
But she created a barrette.
A what?
A barrette.
What is that?
The thing that you clip at the end of the hair. A barrette.
Oh, a barrette.
A barrette, yes. Okay, I call it barrette. Okay, I didn't learn until last year how it actually felt.
Okay.
Because as a man, we don't know, right? She's like, what? A barrette.
I was like, what is that?
Yeah, barrette. Yes, it's right.
Okay.
It's but you know.
Yes.
But so she was getting in trouble because she would lose her barrettes, and so she said, well, they shouldn't be falling out anyway, and so her parents helped her to invent it, and so she has a patent. It's in Claire's.
Wow. How old is she?
Right now she's 18, but she was 7 when she started the business.
Oh my goodness.
And her hashtag was 6 figures before 6th grade. But here's the thing, and this is what I tell when I go talk to elementary school kids, right? And I say, guess what, y'all? She's her mom's boss. Because she's the CEO of Confidence by Gabby Goodwin, right?
Wow.
By Gabby Goodwin. And so it's like, oh yeah. And I said, now she still got to listen to her mother. She still has to obey her. But when it comes to the business, her mom works for her. And again, we talk about leadership. It's because, she's put in the work. And, you know, her parents, of course, invested in it and saw it as a good thing. But the truth of the matter is, what if she would have waited?
Yeah. And we always say that perfection is the enemy of progress,
Yeah.
right? And so many things. In starting this podcast, I kept thinking, I need to do this, I need to do that. And I was like, no, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And it will, things will suck in the beginning and then they will not later on. Like I will grow and evolve and it will, but when you talk about the fact that she was 7 years old, and it also sounds like she had parents that believed in her, that were willing to invest that time. What about for those kids that come from backgrounds where they don't have that parental support to help them really achieve? Because you come in and, you're telling them you can dream big and you can have all of these things, but not all of them have the support from parents to think, let's get a patent, let's do these things.
I got a story for everything, it seems like. So when we were doing the camp for Prince George's County Public Schools, we had a very similar situation. A young woman named Taylor Exum. I remember she went across the high school, and I was going around recruiting students for the camp. And I remember exactly who she was sitting up front to my left, but right side of the classroom. And I was asking all the kids their ideas. And she had one. She said, I want to create a bakery for people with dietary restrictions. Right? And I was like, okay, good. I thought it was a great idea. So she applied, she got in. And the first day of the camp, I had two other coaches with me, and this is why I know it was divine. Everybody else, I use a random number generator to put them in their cohorts. I had no idea, none of these kids. But I said, I'm going to put Taylor with Coach Crystal. Now, Coach Crystal runs her own nonprofit for young girls, who need different types of help. And I said, I'm going to put Taylor with her. Nobody else did. I said, I'm going to put Taylor with her. And like, she's 6 foot, mama bear, right? Pretty mama bear, right? And so she comes to first and she said, Carl, Taylor was crying today. I'm like, what? Why was she crying? Like, it's the first day. You can't be crying the first day. And you're a teenager. Why? She said, because everybody at her home told her not to come. That it was a waste of time. That she should be doing something different with her summer. And my this is only 2 weeks. And I said, okay. So I said, she's coming back. She's coming back. And she said, don't worry, I got her. I was like, all right, cool. If my people say they got them, that's it. Like I said, she had massive dietary restrictions. So every day we had to order her lunch special. And a joy to do, not a problem at all. She was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, you have nothing to apologize for. I said I would handle whatever your dietary restrictions are. But anyway, they go through. She does all the stuff supposed to do. The day before the last day, the kids in the cohorts select who's going to be finalists. So she got voted as one of the finalists. And so she gets up, she does her presentation. She's like the second to last one. And then we announce the winners. And once again, she's crying. But this time because she won the $1,000. So it ended up being statistical tie between her and another young man. And only, she was the winner after being told she shouldn't show up.
Wow. So
what we do is, like I said, we just provide the environment. It was like, I don't care what's going on at home. Not because I don't care, but because it doesn't affect how I treat you. You could have the best of home upbringings. I'm going to treat you like a coach. You could have the worst. I'm going to treat you like a coach. Because if it's about pulling out what's in there. I'm not coddling. I'm not going to play to your princess treatment. I'm not going to play to your victimhood. I'm not going to play that you always been the man walking through the hallways. None of that. You got to get this done. And so to answer that question, for those who don't have it, I got it for you. I believe in you. Because again, I see myself in them. And I'm like, okay, if I had this, what would I have done with it? So I don't give them excuses. I don't give them passes. I only give them hope. I only give them a way. I only give them, you can do this. You don't have my job is to make it difficult to fail.
The support, the mentorship, the guidance, the coaching.
The food.
The food. That is the most important thing, the food.
But so that's what was...
Food brings people to the table, literally.
So when we were going around to the classrooms, they were asking, are we going to have cafeteria food? I was like, no, you're not. I said, we're going to do Chipotle. Probably. They're like, all right, we coming. It was crazy how important that was to them. So, okay, that matters. So, okay, we're going to do food then.
Yeah. And I mean, school lunches sometimes are the only meals that some kids get.
Exactly.
So it's really, we're laughing, but it's really actually a very important aspect of the program.
It's a huge aspect. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to switch gears a little bit and I want to talk about Launch with Carl.
Hey.
I want to talk about Launch with Carl. Tell me about what inspired Launch with Carl and what it is.
So Launch with Carl is what I've always wanted to do. Since I was in my early 20s, like it's just help people start businesses. I love entrepreneurship. Like I just told you, I'm a musician. I'm a drummer. I played for some of the greats and did some wonderful stages. But all day long now, I don't listen to music. I listen to business podcasts. Like on the way over, I listen to 3 episodes of My First Million. I listen. Like it's the thing. Like I listen to Social Proof. I listen to Rundown with Ramon. Like it's like that's all I love. And so seeing people with ideas and seeing how they can make money does something to me. It's always been like that where. Well, why don't you make money? Because everything I do, I like to make money from it. Like I picked up
Me too.
Yeah, it's like if I'm gonna do it, I want to make money.
Yeah.
So like when I was never the best drummer, but I knew how to promote myself as a drummer so I could make money. Even in photography, like my mentor Jack, that man has shot I gotta say it the right way. Took photographs of the president of Obama, and like he's on album covers. I'll never be as good as him. But I made more money than him.
Ooh.
Because of the business side of it. I know the business part of it. It's like, okay, how do so it's like if I can do something to make money, I'll do it. But now my heart is for my community. So I believe that there's no problem in our community that does not have an entrepreneurial solution. And ownership is so important to us. So it's like, if you have an idea, you need to get it launched. You need to get it out there. You need to be able to make money because you don't know what tomorrow holds. You need to have something you can fall back on to make money. So and I see people every day struggling to try to get their business off the ground. And because of the experiences that I've had working with these huge companies and knowing what they do. So one of the things that people don't even pay attention to, and I learned this when I was working with United States Treasury and, Marriott and some of these other folks, is that these businesses are always launching. Most of us only launch one time.
That's so true.
When I say they're always launching, I'm gonna show you exactly how this works. In our own country, our holidays are built around launches.
Explain.
What month are we in?
January.
What launched in January? New Year's.
Yes.
So they launched New Year. There's always there's a deal around New Year's. February, Valentine's
Day.
There's a launch. March,
St.
spring.
Patrick's Day.
Well, see, St. Patrick's Day somewhat.
Yeah.
Because it's not really profitable, but it's spring time coming.
It might be profitable to the bars.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Very true. Then April, you go into Easter. May, you got Labor Day. What's
Memorial Day.
I always get it mixed up. Memorial Day.
Is Memorial Day profitable?
Yes.
Is it?
Oh, it's huge for travel.
Oh, and flowers.
It's right. Mother's Day.
Different businesses.
Mother's Day. Yeah.
And,
all of these things. So it's like, every month there's something. Then you have June, which Father's Day and Summer's kick off, and out of school. July, 4th of July.
Yeah.
August, people are like, well, what's in August? Most people don't understand. August is actually the kickoff of the holiday shopping season. That's when everything is decided. What's actually going to be the big thing to say? That's when, think about, if you go back and you look historically, when Tickle Me Elmo, they started talking about it in August.
I remember that.
They started
craze.
started talking about it in August. Teletubbies started talking about it in August. So that they would know. September, back to school. October, you got Halloween. November, you have Thanksgiving, Black Friday, December, of course, Christmas. And all that to say is there's always something being launched behind it. Not necessarily a new product, not actually even a new offer, just a new packaging, a new marketing. And so it's that constant push because we launch our business one time, get that push, and think things are supposed to coast. It doesn't work that way. Like inertia will always hold us back. So Launch with Carl is always having you launch. Not saying, well, I got to do it. No, you don't have to do another website. You don't have to do another product, but just present it differently. Even to the same audience. It's what keeps if it's what keeps our economy moving, of course it's going to be what keeps your business moving.
Yeah.
Like they encourage, like our like, not, I don't want to say too much about what I learned when I was, doing stuff with Treasury, but our country is, it's necessary, even for small businesses, that they follow that.
Yeah.
In order for us to thrive.
I'm just curious, what is your educational background?
So I'm a product of Prince George's County Public Schools. I went to
Okay.
Parkdale High School, class of 2000. And then I went to the greatest college on the planet, Hampton University.
Okay.
In Hampton, Virginia, where I majored in political science.
I was a political science major.
And I tell you all the time, look, we can do anything.
Yes.
All I can do
Because you have
anything.
to write.
Right.
You have to research.
You got to talk.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So much.
Yeah, so that's a lot of my education, formal education came from there. But then most of the things I learned because I jumped out there. I was in politics. I started my first political campaign at 19. So I was, doing that and working with different folks. And then I was mentored by a gentleman named Gary Murray who had 2 9-figure exits out of companies. So my education has really been not the streets, but the streets of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And digital marketing. Like my past used to take me places. I've met the Michael Gerbers of the world, the Russell Brunsons, the Myron Goldens, and all of that. So my education, I'm always learning. I love learning and also love implementing as well. So that's really what the education is, Hampton taught me outside of the classroom. It let me be who I wanted to be. It was like, so I became, a co-facilitator in a student leadership program there. And I was running all the marketing and promotions for I could do everybody.
Were you Black Greek?
No.
You weren't?
I was not. I wanted to be, but I didn't do it. But I used to throw their parties.
Oh.
Like, those were my boys.
Zeta Phi Beta.
Oh, you'll find a woman. Yes, indeed. But so I used to throw the parties for the Greeks. I used to do a lot of events with them. So, it was, so I was able to really open up and, really be myself. Mr. Mangana gave me the opportunity to run a lot of stuff. Like, we do concerts and events. And there was a thing called the Black Heritage Extravaganza that I helped to found that's still going to this day. Over 20 years later, they still do it. So, that's really was my education. It was in doing. And that's what I learned. Like, so much you learn just by doing it. Yeah. Like, you talked about the podcast and the kicking off. First of all, I've seen from episode 1, it's never sucked. So that's number one. That's number one. But I know you learn something every week doing it. So
and it was so fast from the moment of Sophia and I literally sitting down in November and saying, let's start breaking rank. And then content day happened in December. And then it happened really quickly. The first podcast that I launched, I thought and sat and it just, it took forever. And I didn't, have any idea of what I was getting myself into. The second time around, I had a better idea of what I was working with, but I knew enough to know to not let perfection get in the way of progress. And when you talk about Launch with Carl, I start getting excited because I start thinking of all of these business ideas that I'm like, oh my goodness, I wanted to start this and I wanted to start that. How does somebody get engaged with you, or how do they get involved with you when they have these ideas? How do they connect with you?
So they can reach out, www.launchwithcarl.com or Launch with Carl anywhere. I check my DMs, my assistant does. And basically what we do is, so not only are we coaching and consulting, we're also a full service agency as well. So I'm not just going to coach you. We also help to build the sales funnels. We build the technical pieces behind it because, a lot of coaches will say, go get this done. I'm like, no, we're going to do this with you. So it's really about you coming with your idea wherever you are, even if you've already been. Some people come because they're afraid they're going to lose their business, and so it's like, all right, I'm going to sit you down. We're going to map everything out. What's your avatar? Who are you talking to? Because most of the time, there are 2 things that most people are missing. It's either they don't know who they're talking to or they don't know how to tell people what they're offering. So they talk about all the things that go into it. Well, I do this and I do that and do this, but they don't tell how it benefits. Working with me, so if we're talking about Launch with Carl, working with me, we eliminate all of the failure markers on the way. That's our goal. is everywhere we're here to remove failure, remove excuses, so that within 60 to 90 days, you have a profitable business, period. Like you're making money in 60 to 90 days. I could tell you about, us using AI or that we have a GHL backend that, does a CRM and all that type of stuff. Most people don't care about that. Mm-hmm. They know they need it, but they don't really care about that. It's like, are you going to help me make money? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. You want yes. Because that's what I do. Like I've had 4 businesses, none of them have been in the red. All my businesses are profitable.
Wow. That's something to aspire to.
Yeah.
And you do, and with Launch with Carl, does that also include the book writing workshops that you have as well? Talk a little about that.
So what I noticed is that most people want to write a book, or they started to write a book, but most entrepreneurs are not writers, but they can still be an author. And an author is about authority. And so that's our goal, is to, over the course of 2 days, help you to write that book that sets you as an authority figure in your industry. My story real quick is that every book that I've made has led to a multi-6-figure contract. Every book. And I'm a 3-time Amazon bestseller. Every time I do it, I get a 6-figure contract, period. Because it removes objections before they even show up. Because most people don't write books. Most people want to write a book. And so they look up to the person that has done it, because writing that book, and this is why a lot of people don't do it as fast as they should, it puts you out there. It stakes like, oh, I can talk about this and I do this. And people love that audacity. That you put your name at the bottom of that book, the top of that book, put your ideas on that paper. And my goal is, people that pay me the most have never read my books.
Really?
They see the cover and the table contents. Oh, this man know what he's talking about. Because it's a trust factor there. They don't want me to teach them.
It's that thought leadership credibility.
That's what they want. They want a leader. They don't really want, like, I don't need you to teach me. Can you do this? Okay, the book says you can do it. Now, my only question now is, can you do this for me? Here's the check. Go. I'm holding you to it. Yeah.
Well, I might be coming out with a book soon with Launch with Carl. So
yes,
FYI.
Indeed.
Be on the lookout for that.
Everybody.
So we've talked a lot about your different businesses, the way that you came up. What I'm curious to know is, when was the moment when you broke rank, when you decided that the systems that were currently operating and how they were operating were not what you wanted, or the moment that you decided to kind of step away from the status quo and break rank?
Whew. Yeah. This is a deep story here. It was honestly is when I stopped. Can I say this? Okay. I'm gonna say it. Right. It's when I stopped letting the women in my life tell me what to do.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, I was raised and
tell me more.
I am. Oh, I am. So I was raised in a predominantly, matriarchal society.
Okay.
Like I said, so when my dad was locked up, my grandmother, my aunt moved in with us. And so, so me, my brothers, and 3 women, telling us what to do. Also, I grew up in a church that was ran by women. So very matriarchal there. And what I learned, and I didn't learn this until a lot later in life, was that there is a natural instinct oftentimes in motherly figures to protect. And that doesn't always work when it comes to boys. We have to experience. And what I found was that while well-intended, the women in my life were very, very protectionist, and it was holding me back from doing what I knew I was supposed to do, and to the point where it was killing me on the inside. Where, some of the things that I'm doing now, like I told you, I wanted to do it since I was in my 20s. I didn't start till my late 30s, early 40s, because I was waiting for their permission. They didn't feel comfortable with me doing it, even though I knew I could do it, and I knew I could do it well. And one day, I'm walking down the street in my neighborhood, got this one beautiful large house, big old pool, all the great stuff. But I'm so not satisfied because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm crying out to God. And I literally said, and I was like, okay, what did people do in the Bible when they was frustrated? Most people think they go and they prayed. Like, Father God, please give me what? No, they didn't do that. They put a demand on God. Moses had a conversation one time and he was like, hey, take me out because this ain't working. I had the same conversation. I said, God, if this thing that's burning inside of me, I'm not supposed to do, you gotta take me out. I don't want to be here otherwise. Just being real. And I'm still alive today. 5 years later. And it was, and at that point, I saw what happened in even those relationships. But I became a man at that point. It took a long time to get off the tit. I'm just being real.
Yeah, okay.
Like I'm a strong man, semi-independent. Like I'm hardworking. I can make money. I'm a provider. I'm a protector. All those things, but I wasn't taking full agency. It was like, hey, I can do this. Y'all think it's okay? Because that's what I was raised to do.
That permission.
Yeah, it was. I was raised to make sure they were okay first, and I didn't know how much damage it was doing to me. It was literally eating me alive on the inside. On some days, I woke up coughing up blood because it was so frustrating. I was doing things that I was good at. I was really good at it. I was one of the first Black ethical hackers, right? I was really good at that. But I didn't hate it, but I didn't want it. It wasn't fulfilling me. It was taking away from me. Like the money's good, but I'm like, no, I need more than just the money. I can make money doing anything. But I need to be fulfilling my purpose. And I felt like it was like I could only do it if they were comfortable with me doing it. And once I put away that comfortability, I broke rank. And I felt better since. I've had more peace. Never doubting their love, but the fact is, women can't raise a man. See, one thing I remember about the times with my father is that he never stopped me from doing anything. He would just tell me to be careful, tell me to look out for. My mother would try to stop me. Don't do that because this or that could happen. But you can't become a man doing that. You can't make change doing that. You can't affect destiny. You can't build a legacy if you're afraid of what might happen. Because 80% of what we fear never happens. 80% of what we fear never happens.
I'm like telling that to my anxiety right now.
It's a natural fact. But for so long, that's what it was. I was operating I don't know what they thought I would become. Were they afraid I would become my father? Just that. I'm like, I've never done any drugs. And I'm be 44. I've never done any drugs. So I'm never going to go down that path. But the truth of the matter is, like, I had to break rank with love, but it was like, y'all can't tell me to do no more. I'm a grown ass man. Period. Y'all can't. And, since then, the relationships have changed dramatically. In painful ways, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is I had to love myself more. I had to love myself first.
Yeah.
I had to break that status quo of me trying to be a man made in their image. Like, you're trying to build a man. No, I have to be a man. I appreciate you. I love you, but you're not going to run my life anymore.
Yeah. And that's what breaking rank is about. I mean, it's painful sometimes and it's scary. And, it is looking at doing things a very new and different way. And sometimes for us, like our first time breaking rank and being out on our own. And that's a really, your experience is really powerful and emotional because it's really hard to break rank when it's your family.
Right.
And we talk about it a lot of times in the workplace, but when it's your family, your church, your support systems, that's when it is really a test of courage and bravery and, leadership. Yeah. So that's an amazing story. Thank you so much. And for those that want to get in contact with Carl, how can they reach you? Yeah,
Launch with Carl everywhere. Matter of fact, send me an email, cgray@launchwithcarl. raisingfounders.net if you want some things about the young people. We have our summer camp coming up. We're doing things in schools as well. So we have an in-school CEO program where we go in and create CEOs within the school. So please reach out. That's our goal, is to affect the community. Like I said, there's no problem in our community that does not have an entrepreneurial solution. And our job is to build it at whatever level you are.
Well, thank you so much for being on our show today. And for those of you who have not yet, please subscribe, share, like, all the things. We would love to have you join us for more episodes like this. So this is Breaking Rank. Thank you so much.